morning. You guys were just in this pumpkin. That guy over there, he's starting to rot. He looks like an elderly man. Okay, so it's Friday. Waiting for a client to answer the phone. Woke up especially early today to do this job and no reply. So I thought I'd make a video. And I want to talk about what it costs to start this specific junk removal business, or any junk removal business really. It's gonna be different from place to place, from state to state. But I just wanted to hop on here and talk about what it costs to start our junk removal business. We started out a little different than some people, but we'll get into that in a moment. Train. Okay, so we started this business. I have a business partner. Today is actually his last day. So I will be operating this business alone from now on. We started this 4 years ago, just about on the dot, officially with paperwork and everything. The biggest thing in starting is just taking action, filling out the paperwork. The way we started the business was we filed the LLC. I believe we maybe got insured right away, and then 4 months of slack, talking about gaining clients or how we're going to do it before we actually got our first client. We paid, I want to say it was like $150 or less to file the LLC in our area. It might be different for where you are, but that's what it costs here. So $150. I'll get a tally here going, but I want to keep this in order of how we did it, so that you can either decide if you want to do it the same way, or if you want to decide, hey, that's dumb, I'll learn from their mistakes, I'll do it a different way. But apparently we have like 20 trains going through town right now, just going off. So we did that. It was $150 to do the paperwork. And you just go onto your state's website, or that's how we did it, and we filled it out that way. Got our name picked out. That was also very hard, choosing a name for your business, but you just got to go with it, and you got to love it. You got to enjoy the name. It can't be something super lame, but don't put too much thought into it, because at the end of the day, you don't want to tie yourself into the business too much emotionally. I mean, you want to have a good, successful business, but you don't want it to be worse than a 9-to-5 job because you're attached to it so much. Maybe I have this a little backwards, but I want a business to be a tool. I don't want it to be something that is going to tie me down, if that makes sense. So we started doing free marketing. I can make a separate video on free marketing and how we started doing that, but today we're just gonna be talking about costs. The first real expense, I want to disclose that we got an old pickup truck from my dad. He let us loan it, and it was like 24, 25 years old at the time, and it was a half-ton pickup. I don't know if you guys know anything about pickups, but a half-ton pickup is not good to haul a dump trailer, and that's what we were pulling a dump trailer eventually with it, but I'll get to that in a moment. So we started with a pickup that was basically free. So that's not everyone's situation, I understand that, but maybe like your parents or your grandparents have a pickup they can let you use just until you save up enough capital to get your own pickup. So we got a pickup for free. All we had to pay was fuel whenever we used it, which wasn't much in the beginning. And then of course you have to pay for insurance. That could be about $150 a month if you're not commercial insurance. It's going to be more than that once you get going. Everything just gets more expensive as you start getting more professional. And then we bought a utility trailer. So that was $950. Once again, not ideal for our business because we have to load things twice. So that eventually led us to realize that we need a dump trailer. That was actually our first purchase. So right in between October and February, when we had our first job, we got the utility trailer, and we sort of built up the walls for that. So that was another probably $200 for materials for the wood, $950 for the trailer, and then probably $150 for the license for the business, for the LLC. We're at just over $1,000 now, split in half because we're 50-50 partners. I remember doing it on paper, and for $2,000 or less, we started this junk removal business. So $950 for the trailer, $150 for license, $300, let's say $300 for materials like wood, screws, and all that stuff to kind of get the walls built up on the trailer and get everything settled and whatnot. Truck doors open, coffee break. I'm going to add for a buffer another $200 for marketing and stuff like that. So basically, that's how we started a junk removal business with $1,500 or $2,000 or less. We just kind of used our resources, and that's the biggest thing. Don't be in it to use people for their resources. Like, I was thankful to have a father that had a pickup truck that I could use. That didn't last long. So essentially we were in business for 3 months and then eventually got our own pickup truck. But we had saved up a little bit of capital. We saved up a down payment for that pickup and started getting the ball rolling a little bit for that. And here's that pickup right now. I'll show you right now. That is the original pickup that we bought, our first business pickup. I want the message and call to action to be, you don't need a lot of money to start a business, even a service business. You just have to use your resources, and don't screw people over, don't hurt people, but use your resources. Say, hey, I'll use this, and then here's what I'll give you in return. So for my dad, for example, we used this pickup and basically ran it to the ground, but it was super old and he was kind of glad to get rid of it. So then eventually I sold it for only like $850, and then I gave him all the money for that. So that was the deal, but you just have to be creative with it, and maybe you have enough capital. Maybe if you have $5,000 to $10,000 saved up and you're trying to start a business like this, like junk removal business, you're well on your way, because you can get a loan for a pickup and you can rent a U-Haul, or you can, if you have a pickup, you can get a dump trailer, take out a loan for that, and start getting work. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't be afraid to leave a comment below if you have any questions about junk removal, or if you have any questions about small business in general. I have a second channel that does the action shots for junk removal, and we just kind of do a daily vlog and show you guys the negatives and the positives of it every single, not every day, but you know, the daily life of a junk removal business, or a small service business, I should say. So check that out. It's We Haul, hauling and junk removal. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks for watching.